coming along as well in West Indies cricket and, of course, Trinidad and Tobago. Having guys like these in your village, you want to represent and be just like them, playing this lovely sport and representing, of course, your country, and as I said before, West Indies cricket.
And you've played cricket at age group level, so Trinidad and Tobago and the West Indies. You've played a lot of club cricket. Tell us about that journey through the system until and up until international cricket.
It's been a quite a interesting and a long journey for myself, represented every age group, coming up with Trinidad and Tobago from under 13, under 15, under 19, West Indies under 19, then moving on to Trinidad senior team. It's always been a great joy, I think, especially growing up in my youth levels, starting from under 15, I was always someone that was looked at to represent Trinidad and Tobago at a pretty young age, and of course, go on to play for West Indies. I can remember scoring the most runs and under 15 tournament, and was obviously selected for World Cup, scored the most runs for West Indies at World Cup level. And then after, moving on to under 19, I also did the same. And on the 19 World Cup, scoring the most runs for them, obviously was some joyful moments there. It's been a good journey for me, and obviously in 2011 was my most special moment. I feel, having a call from Mr. Clyde Butts, who was the chairman back then, so, saying I was, picked for West Indies senior team to tour to India. That capped off the moment of me, being a cricketer, but obviously moving on to be a professional international cricketer.
You're sort of a legend in terms of school cricket in Trinidad. So many stories about you. I remember one in particular, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit on this and maybe confirm if it's true. There's a story going about that you were dismissed and then you didn't think that you were out. You sat in the middle of the pitch and the game was stopped. Is that true?
Yeah, there is some truth in that story. I think the entire story is true. It's two schools pretty close by each other, so it's always a little bit of a rivalry there. And unfortunately, that day no umpires turned up, so it was two teachers, and the teacher from the opposite school sent me out. I was leaving alone a ball and was sent caught behind. So I was very distraught, and I don't know what came into me at that moment. So I sat on the pitch, and that was it. The game was over.
Yeah, you struggled to maintain a regular place on the West Indies team over a long period of time. What has been the reason for that, and why are you now so much more consistent than before?
I think, as you said, the reason for being in and out, I was not consistent enough. That's the main reason. No other reason, there is. Obviously, international cricket is very demanding of you to perform at a regular basis. I think over the years, I've grown to understand myself a little bit more and work on certain things to help me get better. I think learning to control your mind, I'm not 100% at it right now in terms of how to do it, but I think I'm a lot better than how I used to be before, recovering from after having a bad inning or a couple bad innings. And, just trying to enjoy my game a little bit more. I think it's some of the main reason why I'm very consistent now over the last couple of years, especially in first class and let's say cricket. And hopefully now I can start doing the same in international cricket for West Indies.
And you're one of the players who is viewed as one of those guys with a level head, quite calm and reassured. And testament to that is the fact that you were given the captaincy of the ODI team on difficult situations previously. 2017 against Pakistan, quite a number of the senior players opted not to go, and recently against Bangladesh in the COVID time, senior players opting not to go as well. How has that experience been given those situations?
Yeah, obviously there were tough situations, but it was something I was very happy and proud about. To lead this great team, West Indies, was a very proud moment in my life. And firstly going to Pakistan in that T20 series, so it's a long time any international team have been there, and obviously Pakistan had their full strength team. We was not, we lose the series 3-0, but it was a great moment for me leading the team, and I think that we had a couple good moments, but we couldn't play that consistent cricket to do better in Pakistan. Going to Bangladesh was obviously very difficult as well. A very young team, a lot of new guys into international cricket, in their conditions with their full strength team. I think it was a good learning process for myself as a leader, but also for a lot of young guys coming through to international cricket now. I think it will all go well for them in the future. And we saw it in the test match, Kyle Mayers, the way that he played in that series Joshua De Silva, Mears also scoring a double hundred there was, I think probably is going to be the best tested innings probably for this year. So all in all, I think it was good tools for us to learn.
And given that the fact that it was in the middle of the pandemic and it was on a way tour to Bangladesh, did you have second thoughts about going on that trip?
I wouldn't say so. I think that every moment, I have a chance to represent West Indies. I will take it. Sometimes it will come in a different way where you been selected in a second 11 rather than a first 11. But to me, it doesn't matter. Every chance I get to put the shirt on and represent West Indies, it's a proud moment for me. So I'll take the opportunity any way it comes.
And quite a number of debutants on that tour, in that ODI series. What was your message to them as leader of that team?
Obviously to try and stay as calm as possible. We all know in any game that we play, it's difficult. There's a lot of nerves, especially international cricket. So to try and be as calm as possible, try and think that, most of them were senior players for their country. So try and think that you're playing for your country and you have to be a leader of this team, for us to do well. So it just was a message for us to be calm, just enjoy the scenario, the international stage that you're on, because this is what we all dreamt about and live for. So that was mainly the message.
And let's talk a little bit about your celebrations. You have a very familiar celebration every time you get a wicket. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think it's just something that just happens. A lot of people say I'm copying a Freddie's celebration, but it's something that just happens, and it's something very simple that I sort of just reflect the way that I am. I'm pretty calm and easygoing, so it's a pretty easy celebration, and it's something that I like doing.
And that relationship with your teammates and the camaraderie, we saw Darren Bravo lifting you after you got a wicket in that Sri Lanka series. Tell us a little bit about your teammates and how that relationship is.
I think I have a pretty good relationship with everybody. As I said, everybody know I'm pretty easygoing and I get along good with everyone. Obviously, myself and Darren has played a lot of cricket together growing up in youth level. Obviously, I was his leader and under 19 cricket when he just started for Trinidad and Tobago. So we have a pretty good relationship. Played a lot of cricket for Trinidad and Tobago's senior team together, and I think he's someone great to be around. He sort of brings that joy in you, even if you're having a bad day. So I love playing with him, and he's someone always fun to be around.
And you just recently celebrated Father's Day for the first time as a dad. Ciara, your newborn baby girl. How has that experience affected you?
I think it was obviously a great feeling. My wife and I, we have been trying for a couple of years now, and it's such a blessing for us now to have our first child. And I think we both wanted a girl, so we're pretty happy with that. And it's such a great joy in our life to have her. I'm very happy that finally I'm a dad. Obviously, it's tough. Just a couple months now, it's tough being away from them, and it's a tough job for the mom, being home alone. It's a huge responsibility with everything else that life has to offer. But obviously, it's a great moment in my life, and I cherish it a lot, and can't wait to get back home to see them soon.
Yeah, I can relate how tough it really is for an international sportsman with a young family. In terms of your learnings from cricket, what can you possibly pass on to her when she gets a little bit older?
Most importantly, enjoy what you do, but do what you enjoy. I think that's most important. Obviously, all of us will love our kids to be something, but I think most important thing I would say to her, whatever field you decide you want to go in and it makes you happy, I will give her that support 100%.
Yeah, you mentioned that special innings, your first class century. In terms of international cricket, what has been your greatest accomplishment so far?
I think a couple of years ago playing against Pakistan in Guyana. First time West Indies has managed to chase over 300 and was successful. And I played an important part in that, scoring 91 not out. Was a really incredible day for me, a really great feeling. I sort of try and look at that innings, before I play international cricket, just to give me that little bit an extra boost and that confidence that I need to know that I can perform at this level. So I think thus far, it's my greatest achievement in international cricket.
Yeah, 91 or 58 deliveries, a very special innings, a match-winning effort. You're the highest scorer in the recently concluded Super 50 series, playing alongside some of the top names in Trinidad and Tobago cricket, Karen Pollard, just to name one, that leader. What does it mean to be part of such a special group of players?
Yeah, it's a huge honor to be amongst players like those. You mentioned Karen Pollard, obviously. Lendl Simmons was there. Evan Lewis was there. Ramden was there. Obviously, when you play in a team like this, obviously there's a lot less pressure on you. In terms of scoring and stuff, my game was more or less to bat through an innings then, and I think with those guys, it made my job pretty easy. And the flip side of it, there's always pressure there to do well because the amount of guys, were in that squad and that couple of guys on the bench to ensure that I kept my spot on the team. So at the same time, I know that I had to do well in order to hold my spot. But it's something I always strive on, with these guys being around, and if I can do well and I can be the top scorer amongst these guys, obviously it will all go well for me. Getting back into West Indies team, I think that was one of the main reasons I got back into the team against Sri Lanka. So I think that tournament was pretty special for me, obviously scoring the most runs in the tournament and amongst those guys. And I think it's the main reason why I'm back in West Indies.
Yeah, you're playing with a lot more maturity and responsibility at age 34. Do you think that you are at the peak of your career? Would you say that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that a lot of people will say, you're getting older and stuff like that, but we see guys playing international cricket now at 39, 40 and still doing well. Obviously now I think I'm at that point where I understand myself, as I said, almost 100% now, and I think the maturity, obviously it helps a lot, and yeah, I think I'm at my peak right now, so that hopefully I can make full use of this now, being back into the international team, and I can prolong it for as long as possible for a couple of years, being here.
And comparatively speaking, you have a really good first-class record, averaging close to 30, 11 centuries with that. Do you harbor ambitions of making the test team? Is that ultimate goal for you?
Yeah, it's always been. It's something I've worked pretty hard on, especially the last couple of years. I think there's only Devon Smith who has scored more first-class hundreds than me in the last 3 years. I have 6, he has 8. It's something that it bothers me sometimes a little bit because I see guys come in and scoring 100, 200, and they get onto the test team. I have 11 with a double 100, but it's a new selection panel now, and I think that it gives you a lot more confidence that your performance has been recognized a little bit more. So hopefully I can stay consistent. It's my biggest dream. It's the format that I thought of would have represented West Indies at first, playing Test cricket. It's always going to be my dream to play Test cricket. So hopefully in the near future I can just stay consistent, score a couple of hundreds, and one day represent West Indies in Test cricket as well.
Yeah, one of the legends part of this West Indies team, Chris Gayle, has really left an indelible mark in cricket in the region and all of the supporters. What sort of a legacy you would want to leave for your supporters or the supporters of Jason Mohammed throughout the world?
As someone that well known as a fighter. I've been in and out in West Indies team. I'm back now. As I said, hopefully I can be consistent, and so they can see me as a really strong person and take heed in that, and never giving up. I think that's one of my strongest points. A lot of people said a couple of years ago that I was struggling to make sure in that team after having one bad season, but I think with my family, my wife now, my good friends, but within myself, I'm someone that fights a lot for what I want, and it's some way and something I'd like people to know and feel about me, that I work very hard for what I want, but it's that never giving up attitude, and in the end, it works out.
Thank you very much, Jason, for your time, and hopefully we can see you in the whites pretty soon.
Thanks a lot for having me.